Welcome to the best of high school sports in Northern California. We are the B Prep Show.
And we're going to break down championship football with a little touch of basketball. We're down here in the studios of the Sacramento Bee. And Mike, I want you to check out my duds. This is championship week.
That's very nice. Expensive. Welcome back for another edition of the B Prep Show. I'm Mike Finnerty, joined as always by my co-host Joe Davidson, the Sacramento Bee. We are coming to you from the offices of the Sacramento Bee, our studio here downtown.
It looks the part.
Oh, it does. It looks good. Joe, big time show once again. It's football heavy. Of course, the Northern California Regional Championship for the CIF, Grant, Folsom. We're going to have a ton on that. But we've got a lot more. We're going to actually talk about some other items of football. You've got your top 5 all-time teams.
How good is this Folsom Bulldogs team? We're going to break down some of the great high school football teams in regional history dating back to the 1970s. We've got some black and white photos. We'll take a look at that because Folsom is getting into that argument. And that's how impressive Folsom is. We're going to big picture all of that throughout the highlights and reviews, and we're going to introduce you to a lineman standout for the Folsom Bulldogs and what makes them so interesting and sets them apart. And yes, it's basketball season. That's why we're inside. It's too cold outside to shoot. We're going to break down some of the top players, the top teams in this region for high school basketball because basketball is big time around here as well.
Yeah, and our coverage for basketball will start in about a couple weeks, so we'll be ready to go. All right, but we're going to talk some football now. Northern California Regional Championship, 2 Sacramento area teams going at it. The Folsom Bulldogs taking on the Grant Pacers. We take you out to Sacramento State University for the CIF Northern California Regional Championship featuring a pair of Sacramento area teams. You've got the 14-0 Folsom Bulldogs making their 3rd straight appearance in a regional championship game, taking on the 14-0 Grant Pacers, their best season since winning a state title back in 2008. We're going to pick it up early in the second quarter. Folsom up 3-0 when quarterback Jake Browning looks left, and he finds Cole Thompson down the left side for the game's first touchdown and a 10-0 Bulldogs advantage. Short time later, Folsom with the ball at the Grant 5 when Josiah DeGuara takes the handoff, but we've got some trickery. DeGuara is going to look the other way and hit a wide open Browning for the touchdown, and it's now a 17-0 game. For the balance of the half, it would be all Folsom, with Bailey Leolagi scoring here in a touchdown, a 17-yard interception return. Then later, a safety on Grant in the half would send Folsom to the midway mark in full command, up 26-0. The second half was pretty much the same, just too much Folsom. Here's Browning going to Thompson again. This touchdown ties a single-season state record for Thompson, his 33rd. It's a 39-0 game now. Still in the third quarter, the onslaught continued. Brian Weldy's going to punch it in to make it a 46-0 game. And when all was said and done, Folsom would walk away with a 52-21 win over Grant and punch its ticket to the Division I state championship game. The Bulldogs will take on Oceanside of San Diego this Friday at the StubHub Center in Carson, California. Despite a pair of interceptions, Browning was 13 of 25 for 259 yards and 3 touchdowns. Leolagi had 87 yards on the ground, and the defense was dominant once again. After coming up short the past 2 years in this game, Folsom finally breaks through and will now look to get its 2nd state title and its 1st since 2010.
Had a great offensive game plan. Val Leolagi, Sam Cole had the defense dialed, and our defense played lights out. You know, I don't think, again, I know our offense and Jake gets a ton of credit, but our defense has been incredible all year. The O-line guys, Jake Couveau, Will Cook, Sam Whitney, Jonah Williams, Cody Creason dominated tonight, and that was a great team win.
Great feeling playing an incredible Grant team. We knew it would be a challenge, and just so proud of our guys, all 3 phases. Defensively, we're able to really stop the run against an incredibly big and fast team.
I'm 0-2, or we're 0-2 in these games, and to finally win one feels great. And we're just excited to get down to Southern California and play in the state game.
It's exciting, we all worked hard for this. So the people that started on varsity our sophomore year, and then also everybody that's kind of been up here for varsity and just coming down now, and we're all excited to finally go to the state.
All right, Mike, great stuff, great camera angles. I applaud you. You didn't have to do it in the rain, unlike the week before, but the Grant Pacers were 14-0 coming in, a loaded outfit, but to get manhandled like this shows you how really impressive Folsom is, dominating on defense, dominating line play both sides, Jake Browning wasn't his ultra super sharp self. He's the first one to say that. He had 2 interceptions. He had some phenomenal throws regardless. He even caught one. It's a great highlight there for him. The Folsom Bulldogs, and we'll talk on this in later segments in this show, could be one of the all-time area greats, if not the all-time area great. And Grant, no shame losing to Folsom. I know Grant Pacers are hurting right now, but you lost to greatness.
Yeah, section champions once again. All right, Joe, we're going to talk a little bit about your role with the Bee. You know, you're up in the press boxes. I'm really working down on the sidelines. But you have a deadline, and there's some other things that I thought would be interesting for those to know. You have your deadline, and then let's talk a little bit about the paper. Let's first start, when do you have to have your story in?
10:30 is a deadline, which is tough when there's a TV game, there's timeout, so you do a lot of your reporting before the game, try to featurize in big picture. And so it starts on a blank piece of paper in the Sacramento Bee, and there's nothing there, and it says, you know, get the dummy. That's not me, it might be more him. So it really just starts with a blank page, and our guru staff down at the Sacramento Bee, the copy desk, transforms it from blank to a real popping product right there, and it also looks really good online. But then you get the inside as well, and that's the nuts and bolts.
Yeah.
And it's fun to do, and it's always a challenge, and the storylines are always there.
Good stuff. All right, let's move away from Folsom, Grant. We're going to talk more about Folsom later in the show when we look ahead to the state bowls. We're going to talk to one of their star linemen as well. But let's talk about Capital Christian. The Cougars, they had a great season, get their first loss of the year. It comes to Central Catholic. Central Catholic now moving on to a state championship. Just overall thoughts on the Cougars?
To reach the Northern California Division IV championship and to lose a competitive game to Central Catholic, which three-peated as NorCal Division IV champions and is going for a three-peat state championship, there's no shame in that. Phil Grams, the coach, took over this program 4 years ago, and they only had 24 total players, JV and varsity. They had to build from ground up. Justice Shelton Mosley, an all-time program great, he's going to Harvard. Jacob Norville is a sophomore quarterback. The future looks bright. So, you know, defeat is tough. It's how you handle defeat. You grow from it. I think Capital Christian will be just fine. They've got all the pieces right there, and they have a heck of a nice new stadium. Better days ahead. Great championship days ahead for the Capital Christian Cougars, no doubt.
Yeah, good strides made by them. All right, Joe, that is going to put an end to the first segment of this show. We got plenty more. We're going to talk boys basketball coming up. We got 4 teams we had a chance to catch up with. We'll let you know who they are. Again, we'll talk to an offensive lineman for the Folsom Bulldogs, actually offense and defensive lineman, and we'll preview some state championship games to the final end. Stick around.
This is your RAM Auto Update.
Just in, the classic term used car is old-fashioned, outdated, and no longer of any particular relevance. Let's party. The Roseville Auto Mall is throwing a massive factory-certified pre-owned sales event. That means incredible savings on just about every kind of car in the world. All factory certified. It's happening now. It's going fast. In layman terms, skedaddle. The Roseville Auto Mall, driven to be the best.
We want to thank our title sponsors, Save Mart Supermarkets. Shop Save Mart up and down the Central Valley.
Welcome back to the best of high school sports in Northern California. Big emphasis right here in Sacramento. We are the Bee Prep Show, and we bring you the best teams, players, cross-generation. We bind it all together because it's a fun gig.
Presented by Save Mart Supermarkets up and down the Central Valley. All right, Joe, we're going to talk some basketball here shortly. We're going to talk about some of the top teams, players to watch out for. But you've been at the Bee for nearly 30 years. You've seen a lot of great teams. What we're going to do is set up a dinner table with some invitees, and they're going to be those teams that you think are the tops that some you have seen, some you haven't, but from Sacramento overall.
Yeah, I've seen all of these teams except for this 1975 Cordova team. I wasn't that old, you know. And this Lancers team, 1975, before the playoffs started, went 11-0. And you can see the joy of this team. They're all on top of each other's shoulders. I don't see people doing that now. They'd fall off. And this team finished #1 in the country under Coach Dewey Guerrera, his finest team. The only Northern California team in history to finish #1 in the country besides De La Salle and Concord was this Cordova team. Great team that would win today.
Well, let's stay with Cordova because we're going to now move into the 80s and a team you like from 1985.
14-0, the Lancers were the first Sac Joaquin section team to compile that record. Mad Max Miller was the coach. That's his name, Mad Max. And Troy Taylor, look at that Heisman pose as he gallops downfield, and he's the co-coach for the Folsom Bulldogs now. So how about that? He was the Sacramento Bee Player of the Year in 1985. What strikes you about this pose?
Well, I know he cannot run like that anymore. Let's just say that. But I think he can still toss the football
Yes,
around.
he can. Needs to warm up a little bit.
Yes, yes. All right, we're going to move into another decade. I think there's a team out in Elk Grove that you like in the 90s.
1998, Elk Grove Thundering Herd, dominant, set national yardage and offensive points records. Lance Briggs, almost inhumane to let him run all over high school teams back then. He's a 6-time Pro Bowler now with the Chicago Bears. Ryan Dinwiddie was the quarterback. Just an incredible team. Ed Lombardi, Dave Hoskins, the co-coaches. That team would win today.
Right. Well, you've got a lot of Grant Pacer teams over the years that have been fabulous. And if you're out there watching, what about Grant? Well, you got Grant in that.
A lot of Grant teams over the years. It's really hard. So what do? You pick the one that won a state championship. That was 2008. Devontae Booker, the great running back. Mike Albergini, the fiery coach. Went down to play national-ranked #2 Long Beach Poly in Carson and won 25-20. It was the big breakthrough, loaded, awesome, fun, spirited team. And then we got one more, the Folsom Bulldogs of 2010, led by Dan Graves. In dry conditions, in the mud, this guy was a champion. Avenged their only loss, the Bulldogs did that year, by beating Grant in the section playoffs. Go down to the mud and muck to beat Sarah of Gardena, which is nationally ranked. Have players in the NFL now, that Sarah team. So that Folsom team was loaded. But we may have room for the current edition Folsom Bulldogs to sit at this table of royalty of all-time greats. I could see Jonah Williams and Sam Whitney and Cody Creason just barging in and said, "Where's our chow?"
Yeah. Let's just say this. You win Folsom, and you're at the dinner table of Joe's all-time great teams. All right. So we're going to move away now from football. We've talked a lot of football. We'll do it at the end of the show. We'll also do it maybe a little midway through as well. But we're going to talk some boys basketball, and I got a chance to bounce around Sacramento and see some of the area's top teams. But we're going to start off with the Cosumnes Oaks Wolfpack, one of those teams. I didn't get out to see them. They were in Gridley, but we're going to talk about them. They returned 2 talented players, Eric Tolles, Jerron Stallworth. We like this team.
They were football players. They were football champions, and they worked so well together in basketball. And then the other theme is multi-sport. Do as much as you can. Eric Tolles, his father, by the same name, was an excellent player back in the day at Valley. The son's better. And the son has had his nose broken in games. He goes out for 35 points. This is an excellent team. Great coach, and Patrick Roth as well.
Yep, they are going to be good. And what a great year they had, by the way, last year as well. All right, Joe, we're going to talk now about the Wood Creek Timberwolves. Again, I got a chance to see them, catch up with some of their guys. But before we get to that, your thoughts on this year's Timberwolves?
2 players. Noah Blackwell, dominating, terrific guard going to Long Beach State. Got great hair. I wish I had hair like that. We'd be in a different business if we had hair like that. And then Jordan Brown is a 6'9", versatile, skilled, talented freshman. I said freshman. Wow, he's got a great career in front of him.
Yeah, well, I got their thoughts on the upcoming season. Here's my visit with the Wood Creek Timberwolves. The expectations are high for the Wood Creek Timberwolves this year. Back as 4-year starter and Long Beach State signee Noah Blackwell, along with some depth, and now add to the mix a big and talented freshman.
Jordan Brown, 6'9" freshman. He came in, with high expectations, which he's been living up to ever since he got injured, but he'll be back soon. We're just playing on a great year, and I'm excited and stoked for everybody.
For Jordan, he knows what is being expected of him, and he feels it.
It's probably one of the last years, and we have a pretty good team right now. And they're really expecting a big to come in, and I happen to come in. So, yeah, I kind of feel a bit of pressure.
With the addition of Brown, Blackwell is still the leader and the go-to guy, and it's been that way since his freshman year.
Since he stepped on the floor his freshman year, just his calmness on the court. He is rarely ruffled, and he's a great team leader. Works hard. The kids look up to him. The other players, look towards him, and he looks to them too. I mean, he gets along well. It's good camaraderie on the team.
Coach Paul Hayes likes the experience he has with this year's team.
One of the things I like most is our seniors. We have 9 seniors this year, and all have been in the program for 4 years. They work really hard. They get along well because they play together. It's, in practice, the effort is always there. So it's nice because I can focus on other things, but it's an exciting year for us.
Senior guard and co-captain Don Corbin knows the new look Sierra Foothill League will be a challenge.
Oh yeah, it's going to be another climb for sure. We got Folsom, I think, and Oak Ridge. And so those are some really good teams to be in there. SFL is already, one of the biggest, hardest leagues in California. So I think it'll be a good challenge for us.
There's a history you feel when you visit any of the Von Hausen automotive dealerships. You'll sense the quality of Mercedes-Benz, and you'll experience the low-pressure atmosphere that comes from 2 generations of family ownership. Mercedes-Benz of Sacramento, Mercedes-Benz of El Dorado Hills, and Mercedes-Benz of Rockland. 3 great reasons to drive one of the world's best automobiles. Come feel the difference or visit vonhausen.com.
We'd like to thank our sponsors, starting with Save Mart Supermarkets, where fresh comes first. Shop at Save Mart up and down the Central Valley. Schools Financial Credit Union, banking for everyone, value, convenience, and emerging technology. LON Thousand Automotive Group, celebrating 50 years with Mercedes-Benz. Stop dreaming and start driving. Roseville Auto Mall. If you're looking for a used car, go to the Roseville Auto Mall with over 6,000 vehicles to choose from. And Les Schwab Tires. Since 1952, we promise we'll get you more for your money.
Welcome back to the B Prep Show as we bring you the very best of high school sports in Northern California. We got a lot of great stuff right here in our home base of Sacramento.
Oh, by the way, brought to you by Save Mart Supermarkets. Up and down the Central Valley, Joe, and we're going to get back to football. I got a chance to catch up with Folsom's terrific lineman. He's an offensive lineman. He's a defensive lineman. Your thoughts on Mr. Sam Whitney?
Dominant. As a rush end, he's hard to block. He's fierce and proud as a center, and he's motivated by the loss of his mother, who died of ovarian cancer in 2011. It's a tough burden to deal with going through high school, but he has an extended family, the Bulldogs, and this kid can really compete, maybe going to Sacramento State, among other options.
Yeah. Well, here's this week's Schools Financial Credit Union Game On Athlete of the Week, Sam Whitney. What a year it has been for senior Sam Whitney of Folsom. The 6'2", 225-pound two-way lineman for the Bulldogs has been a force on both sides of the ball and a key part of Folsom's 15-0 season with a team-high 12 sacks, and now he's one win away from a Division I state championship.
It's a really good feeling being so close the last 2 years and finally getting it. It's a good feeling.
The defensive end has been a sack machine and an impact player, a reminder of someone he tries to model his game after.
I don't know. Probably, like, I'm not saying I'm anywhere near him, but probably J.J. Watt. I really like how he just disrupts every aspect of the game. So I try and do that to the best of my ability.
So a big talent like Whitney, he must have a nickname, right?
No. I think I need one, though. But no, I'm good.
So with all that Folsom has accomplished with only 2 losses in the past 3 years, section championships, the records, there's a bond that makes this team unique.
We spent so much time together, so it's just like we're all brothers, we're all best friends. There's no one that's left out. We're all just really close. Jake since the start, Brian Weldy for 10 years. There's a couple other guys for about 10 years, so it's just a brotherhood. It's really cool.
For Whitney, he plays for more than just the wins. He plays in his mother Jennifer's memory. She passed 3 years ago after a long battle with ovarian cancer, and she'd love to see her boys play football.
She was a big fan. She never got to see me play high school football, but she watched my brother and she loved that, and then she always loved going to the junior bulldog games.
Jennifer would have been proud of what her son and his teammates have accomplished.
She'd be the #1 fan cheering, so it's a cool feeling just to do that for her.
Senior night at Folsom was a special night for Whitney and a chance to reflect and to be thankful.
It's a lot of emotion, just being with my dad who's done everything for me and holding up a picture of my brother and my mom who, just aren't there anymore. It's fun. It's nice.
Playing in college is Whitney's goal. He has an offer from Sacramento State, and he has one key ingredient to his success.
Work ethic. I've been working since, like 7 years old and year-round all the time. And, I'm just at the next level. I want to compete, and I want to get a starting job somewhere.
Great stuff, Mike, there. And he plays in honor of his mom, and I think that's really endearing. He said, I'm driven in her spirit.
Yeah. All right, more basketball, Joe, and we're going to catch up with 2 more teams. We got a chance to see the Sacramento Dragons, and they bring back Solomon Young and, of course, head coach Derek Swafford.
These are men out here. Swafford's the man, and then Solomon Young is also the man. He's the most dominant defensive player in the Sac Joaquin section, and he's only a junior.
Let's talk Dragons basketball with those 2 gentlemen. It's a new year, but once again, the Sacramento Dragons will be one of the very best teams in the Sac Joaquin section. Sacramento hasn't reached a section final in 4 years, but expectations are still the same for longtime head coach Derek Swafford.
If you settle with, especially with the minds of young players now, they'll just get contemplating and they won't play as hard. So I always move the bar up, and then when we play, because our schedule is a monster schedule, and we have to be ready for that.
Swafford is in his 16th year at the helm for Sac High, and while winning is fun, there's more to it than that for Coach.
What brings me back is my way of giving back, to take 15 guys and help them get scholarships, help them mold them into young men. This program's always been about molding. We go feed the hungry once a month. We do things like that, and the banner up there says that we got the community award from a section for being out in the community, and those are the type of things I'm really proud of. The basketball, everybody's going to play basketball, but to know that the kids come back, to have Savante here as my assistant, to have Chase Tapley come back, to have Darius, to have those kids graduate, and to see that, that's the payoff for me.
Back for the Dragons are two very talented juniors and 6'7" forward Solomon Young and 6'5" guard Christian Terrell. For Young, he blends in well.
He's a special kind of kid. You look up and you get a kid like that, and he's a quiet, gentle giant, and he wants to learn, he wants to play, and he's just never a problem. And that's the kind of kid that you like. And what makes him special is that he just plays hard.
Young likes the group they've got coming back as well.
Our team's pretty strong, mainly juniors, one freshman, sophomore, and I have Stevie, our senior. I feel pretty good, and we have a lot of team chemistry being for a team for a long time.
As for Terrell, big things are coming for him this season.
Christian is going to even be better this year. He's really learning. As you know, like you said, you have these young kids, and they have breakout games, and you just don't know when, but he is going to be something to watch this year. All of the universities are saying they're just waiting to see what type of player he develops to be and everything, so I'm really excited for him too.
So with all this talent, who will lead this young group?
Stevie Matthews has definitely got to be our leader, and I'm pushing on him for that. And he's willing to accept it, but I don't think he understands the enormity that he has to be a leader of 14 other guys that are underclassmen and that are playing just as good as he is.
The Folsom Bulldogs were a win away from being the Division II state champions last season, but the excitement is high in Folsom as the Bulldogs return everyone from last year's team, plus some new guys, and it's been a seamless transition.
That's one of the nice things. It feels really comfortable. The kids are really in the rhythm of what we do. They know a lot of the stuff, and we're working in the new kids from the JV and the a couple new kids on campus, but for the most part, it's been very comfortable working with the returners, and everybody feels comfortable with the system and is all bought in, and their roles are defined, and it makes it a much easier process.
Last year's Sacramento Bee Player of the Year was Jordan Ford, who averaged over 22 points a game as a sophomore, and even Ford has things he wants to improve on.
Look to improve on my defense, always improving on that to play at the next level. And I just think it was a great year overall for our team and for myself.
Ford is now a junior, and Coach Wall anticipates more of the same from Ford.
Yeah, I expect the same things. He's still a very good shooter, incredibly balanced, always calm, takes care of business on the court, and he's gotten much better defensively over the last year, and he's gotten much stronger. He's definitely a much more able to take contact and finish plays, and has just improved, his game and kept moving up, but he's still the same kid.
6'9" senior center Colin Russell will man the middle once again, and he talks about what drives he and the team.
Doing the accomplishments we made, that was great. NorCal championship, making the state, but the thing that lingers over you is still losing the state, and that's the worst feeling ever right now. So we're using that as a motivator and a catalyst to keep working harder.
Since last season, Folsom switched leagues from the Delta River League to the Sierra Foothill League, and there's a lot of excitement with the move.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. That's what every high school kid dreams of, playing in front of the big crowd, hitting big shots, and getting W's, of course. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
We're really excited about the crowds. I mean, we hear such great things about Wood Creek and Rockland, Del Oro, about the energy of their crowds, and Granite Bay, and we see how kind of crazy they are, and our dog pack's going to add a lot, and we obviously already have an Oak Ridge rivalry. And so I think it's just going to be one of the best crowd leagues in all of Northern California. And as a coach and an ex-player, we just love the energy and the enthusiasm of the crowd. So we're just excited to be in the league.
All right, Mike, good stuff. The Folsom Bulldogs are loaded now, but they're going to get better when they get their football guys back. Lucas Hendricks, Parker Boone, Josiah DeGura. It's almost not fair to the rest of the area.
It's good to be a Bulldog these days. All right, Joe, one more segment left, and we're going to look ahead to the state championships down in Carson, California. We're going to talk a lot of Folsom.
A credit union is a not-for-profit member-owned financial institution. Can your bank say that? Demand more from your financial institution. Make the switch to Schools Financial Credit Union for low loan rates, state-of-the-art technology, making accounts accessible anytime, anywhere, and more ATMs than most major banks. Anyone who lives, works, or worships in Sacramento and its surrounding counties is eligible to join. Be part of the credit union difference and bank happily ever after with Schools.
We want to thank our title sponsors, Save Mart Supermarkets. Shop Save Mart up and down the Central Valley.
Welcome back to the very best of high school sports in Northern California. We are the Bee Prep Show, and I did say the very best of high school sports. We have so many good teams in Northern California. including right here in Sacramento. We're going to touch more on football here in a moment. But Mike, what do you got to wow me?
Well, we have 2 more athletes to recognize, as we do every week with our Von Hausen Stars of the Week. By the way, here's what we give them each week. We give them a shirt. So if you are a Von Hausen Star of the Week, you get one of these. And here's this week's Von Hausen Stars.
This week's Von Hausen Stars of the Week are Bailey Leolagi and Cole Thompson of Folsom. Leolagi, the 6'2", 205-pound senior running back and linebacker, was a force on both sides of the ball in Folsom's 52-21 win over Grant. On the offensive side, Leolagi had 87 yards rushing and a touchdown, while on the defensive side, he had several big tackles plus a 17-yard interception return for a touchdown. As for Thompson, the 6', 190-pound senior receiver had several key catches in the game, including 2 more touchdown receptions, giving Thompson 33 for the season, tying the state record, and now 1 away from tying the national record set back in 2008.
All right, Mike, good stuff. We have a treat for our viewers. If you're a football fan, and you have to be a football fan if you're watching the show, we are going to have a football state championship bonanza show next week, including the De La Salle Spartans. What makes them so good? We'll do it from field level, the way they tackle, the way they block, the way they prepare. They're in the Open Division Championship. The Sacramento area knows about De La Salle. De La Salle mows all comers. They might win another state championship, might finish #1 in the country. Again, that'll be a treat. And of course, we'll take a look at the Folsom Bulldogs as well.
We will. It's basically going to be a celebration of Northern Cali football down here. We're going to do a lot, obviously, on the Bulldogs. We're going to catch up with Jake Browning, the offensive line. We're going to meet the defensive stars of this team. They do have a great defense. If you're a football fan, Northern California football fan, we're going to have it covered top to bottom.
We'll show highlights of the Bay Area teams. But when you look at Folsom, this is a dominant, balanced team, can run with power and fury. You got Trey Green, Brian Weldy, Bailey Leolagi, terrific there. Quarterback Jake Browning, 220 career touchdowns. Add 3 more to his record. He even caught a touchdown pass, so he's dangerous all over the field. The dominating defense, we've talked about that. Oceanside is a formidable, monster, unbeaten team.
Yeah, I do think they'll beat Oceanside. I think it'll be a close game, but I think they're going to still put up points. The question is, can Oceanside keep with them? So again, I've got a Folsom Bulldogs win, but I think it's going to be a very good game. Let's hope that the weather is good as well. You know, Folsom in 2010 won it there in the rain. This team, it wouldn't bother them either, but I'm sure you got the Bulldogs.
I have the Bulldogs, and I've already talked to the people on Doppler radar and said, we need good weather. And they said, well, anything you need. So we're in good shape there. A lot of football coming up. It gets just better and better. It's a great area for football, and we're going to continue to have teams get to the state finals. Mike, we've had Grant won a state championship 2008. Folsom won a state championship 2010. Granite Bay won it in 2013. Del Oro's been down there twice. Rockland's been down there. We're not slowing down.
We are not. All right, folks, if you want to catch this show, you do so every Tuesday on Comcast Sportsnet California. Shows will re-air on Wednesdays, Thursdays, sometimes Fridays. And if you miss it on TV, where do you catch it?
SacB.com, where we have just a full menu of great fun, show links, photo gallery links, story links, previews, everything you want to know in high school sports. Big on football, but wait till basketball comes around.
Yep. All right, folks, we will see you next week, and I promise Joe will have a nicer jacket where we'll see you from Carson, California.